Thank you for your previous sharing about the necessity of giving time for growth and experience to gain spiritual maturity before someone enters into a Bible school, and the story how you find the church which provided you the biblical education. It was very fascinating. Can you tell us how did you actually manage to get into their school despite that you were a foreigner and you almost did not speak the local language, I mean the Swedish language, and probably the teaching was in Swedish. So can you tell about the story, if you have any, of course, that how did you get into that Bible school?
As I shared the meeting with this church, Livetsord, what is in English Word of Life Church, has a Bible school. And the Lord encouraged me for do an application. And I have two possibilities. You can apply to go to Swedish course, or you can go to international, the English course. Now, as I really began to learn Swedish, of course, I began to speak Swedish this time. It was very interesting, but I chose for, okay, maybe under the Bible school's time, I can learn the language. But for make and filling up an application form in Swedish, I really needed some help. Finally, I found somebody who go through with me step by step with every questions. And of course, he probably also a little bit wondering for a lot of information was not very stable to go at such a serious school. This time, Master Chef for the Bible school was very anointed. The whole world is interested to go and be a part of the Word of Life Church Bible school. And it's not joke. Somehow the class, the first class sometimes from 200 people grow to even thousands people. And also was possible for the church invite people from Russian, 40 pastors, for they can be trained by the cost of the Bible school. So they was very generous, and there was a very special time for, in this time began basically the big collapse of the communism, and it was a very special time for me. We really prayed for every countries in East Bloc. So there's a very, very, very special time. I applied to go in the year 1990 years. So this was very interesting. For really a lot of things happened in Europe, and basically the communists fell and collapsed even in my countries. So anyway, I just given this application form to the school and got back to my place. I've been in a little countryside. Name is Söderfors, and this place basically 60 kilometers from Uppsala, from the Bible school. But the good news for if they accept me, to have some possibility for somebody pick up me by car, so we can get together to the Bible school. Anyway, so I was not very secure about for the positive answer, but somehow one day the social office shared for they received call from the Bible school of Livetsord for I can accept that to go to Bible school, but the director like to speak with me personal. Wow, very excited for me to such a big school's director. So I was really prayed and filled my heart with the Holy Spirit, speaking tongues. And finally I met with the director. He was very strict. He said, do you have a residence, permanent residence in Sweden? I answered, no, sir. Do you speak Swedish fluently? No, sir. Do you able to pay the fee of the monthly charge of the Bible school? Yes, I believe by faith. Yes, I have not such money, but I believe God will support my tutorial fee. So he said, you have no residence in Sweden. You cannot speak Swedish. You have no money. So who you are? And this is the time when you can make such excuse and sorry, and I believe God and He will provide, and I believe I can speak well Swedish soon. I can also getting the permanent residence, so can give a long preaching to the director. But suddenly the Lord gave a very strict sentence for him. Then I said to him, go home, kneel down, and ask God who I am. He just looked at me. He said, welcome to the Bible school. I was very surprised, for he was not upset or angry what I shared, and invite him to go down home and pray and asking about who I am. But this was the important for he as a director know, for he look for people who have the faith. And this is the most of key point. Have a faith in God. So I like to just encourage every one of you, for whenever you have challenges, for the Lord give a Bible school in your heart, and a lot of circumstances was not matching, for you, your application can be acceptable. Don't be afraid. God always give you the moment, the answer, and His direction, and you can experience about in His time. For finally, you can be admitted for such wonderful school what the Lord given for you. Finally, a bonus interesting. The first day when I was very happily arrived to the Bible school, the first people whom I met, was the guy whom I met at the Pentecost church, and after later on at Maria Lund, who answered for me and introduced about the Bible school's place, where is in Uppsala. Even he was a Pentecost church member, but when I asked him for, I searching people who love God, he directly shared for his heart for, yeah, it's not here. And there was a Pentecost church, Summer's place, but explained to me how to find a place when I basically meet with this church, the Livetsord, and I got to Bible school basically 3 years. First for the theory part, second year to music school, and third year to practical part, special about to learn how to preach. So before even I preach Swedish,